In the early 20th century, Berlin had become a fertile ground for the German expressionist movement. In fields such as architecture, painting and cinema, new forms of artistic styles were invented. At the end of the First World War in 1918, a republic was proclaimed by Philipp Scheidemann at the Reichstag building. In 1920, the Greater Berlin Act incorporated dozens of suburban cities, villages, and estates around Berlin into an expanded city. The act increased the area of Berlin from 66 to 883 kilometers to 25 to 341 square miles. The population almost doubled, and Berlin had a population of around 4 million. During the Weimar era, Berlin underwent political unrest due to economic uncertainties but also became a renowned center of the Roaring Twenties. The metropolis experienced its heyday as a major world capital and was known for its leadership roles in science, technology, arts, the humanities, city planning, film, higher education, government, and industries. Albert Einstein rose to public prominence during his years in Berlin, being awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. In 1933, Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party came to power. The National Socialist regime embarked on monumental construction projects in Berlin as a way to express their power and authority through architecture. Adolf Hitler and Albert Speer developed architectural concepts for the conversion of the city into world capital Germania. These were never implemented. NSDAP rule diminished Berlin's Jewish community from 160,000, one-third of all Jews in the country, to about 80,000 due to emigration between 1933 and 1939. After Kristallnacht in 1938, thousands of the city's Jews were imprisoned in the nearby Sachsenhausen concentration camp. Starting in early 1943, many were shipped to concentration camps, such as Auschwitz. Berlin hosted the 1936 Summer Olympics, for which the Olympic Stadium was built. Adolf Hitler was inspired by the architecture he had experienced in Vienna, and he wished for a German empire with a capital city that had a monumental ensemble. Therefore he sponsored a competition, demanding an architectural master plan for Berlin. In 1910 Hitler announced the results, the joint first prize being awarded to two plans that focused on traffic and circulation. However, monumental architecture plans were also submitted by Havestadt and Contag Company, Otto Blum, and Bruno Schmitz. Quote, during World War II, large parts of Berlin were destroyed during 1943–45 Allied air raids and the 1945 Battle of Berlin. The Allies dropped 67,607 tons of bombs on the city, destroying 6,427 acres of the built-up area. Around 125,000 civilians were killed. After the end of World War II in Europe in May 1945, Berlin received large numbers of refugees from the eastern provinces. The victorious powers divided the city into four sectors, analogous to Allied-occupied Germany. The sectors of the Allies of World War II, the United States, the United Kingdom, and France, formed West Berlin, while the Soviet Union formed East Berlin. All four Allies of World War II shared administrative responsibilities for Berlin. However, in 1948, when the Western Allies extended the currency reform in the western zones of Germany to the three western sectors of Berlin, the Soviet Union imposed the Berlin blockade on the access routes to and from West Berlin, which lay entirely inside Soviet-controlled territory. The Berlin Airlift, conducted by the three Western Allies, overcame this blockade by supplying food and other supplies to the city from June 1948 to May 1949. In 1949, the Federal Republic of Germany was founded in West Germany and eventually included all of the American, British and French zones, excluding those three countries' zones in Berlin, while the Marxist-Leninist German Democratic Republic was proclaimed in East Germany. West Berlin officially remained an occupied city, but it politically was aligned with the Federal Republic of Germany despite West Berlin's geographic isolation. Airline service to West Berlin was granted only to American, British and French airlines. Quote, "The founding of the two German states increased Cold War tensions. West Berlin was surrounded by East German territory, and East Germany proclaimed the eastern part as its capital, a move the Western powers did not recognize. East Berlin included most of the city's historic center. The West German government established itself in Bonn. In 1961, East Germany began to build the Berlin Wall around West Berlin, and events escalated to a tank standoff at Checkpoint Charlie. West Berlin was now de facto a part of West Germany with a unique legal status, while East Berlin was de facto a part of East Germany. John F. Kennedy gave his Ich bin ein Berliner speech on 26 June 1963. In front of the Schöneberg City Hall, located in the city's western part, underlining the U.S. support for West Berlin. Berlin was completely divided, although it was possible for Westerners to pass to the other side through strictly controlled checkpoints. For most Easterners, travel to West Berlin or West Germany was prohibited by the government of East Germany. In 1971, a four-power agreement guaranteed access to and from West Berlin by car or train through East Germany. In 1989, with the end of the Cold War and pressure from the East German population, the Berlin Wall fell on 9 November and was subsequently mostly demolished. Today, the East Side Gallery preserves a large portion of the wall. On 3 October 1990, the two parts of Germany were reunified as the Federal Republic of Germany, and Berlin again became a reunified city. Walter Momper, the mayor of West Berlin, became the first mayor of the reunified city in the interim. Citywide elections in December 1990 resulted in the first, all-Berlin, mayor being elected to take office in January 1991, with the separate offices of mayors in East and West Berlin expiring by that time. And Eberhard Degen, a former mayor of West Berlin, became the first elected mayor of a reunited Berlin. On 18 June 1994, soldiers from the United States, France and Britain marched in a parade which was part of the ceremonies to mark the withdrawal of Allied occupation troops, allowing a reunified Berlin. The last Russian troops departed on 31 August, while the final departure of Western Allies forces was on 8 September 1994. On 20 June 1991, the Bundestag, German parliament, voted to move the seat of the German capital from Bonn to Berlin, which was completed in 1999. During the chancellorship of Gerhard Schröder, Berlin's 2001 administrative reform merged several boroughs, reducing their number from 23 to 12. Quote, in 2006, the FIFA World Cup final was held in Berlin. In a 2016 terrorist attack linked to ISIL, a truck was deliberately driven into a Christmas market next to the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church, leaving 13 people dead and 55 others injured. In 2018, more than 200,000 protesters took to the streets in Berlin with demonstrations of racism for Solidarity against the emergence of far-right politics in Germany. Berlin-Brandenburg Airport. BUR. Opened in 2020. 9 years later than planned. With Terminal 1 coming into service at the end of October. And flights to and from Tegel Airport ending in November. Due to the fall in passenger numbers resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Plans were announced to temporarily close BUR's Terminal 5. The former Schönefeld Airport. Beginning in March 2021 for up to 1 year. The connecting link of U-Bahn line U5 from Alexanderplatz to Hauptbahnhof. Along with the new stations Rotes Rathaus and Unter den Linden. Opened on 4 December 2020. With the Museumsinsel U-Bahn station expected to open around March 2021. Which would complete all new works on the U5. A partial opening by the end of 2020 of the Humboldt Forum Museum. Housed in the reconstructed Berlin Palace. Which had been announced in June. Was postponed until March 2021.